and welcome to Transformation Now. You know, today we're going to talk about all the different life changes that we go through, all the patterns that we have that we'd like to change, and we want to have programs that are specifically created for you. So we are inviting you to let us know of particular topics or things of interest that you might enjoy. And does your life suit you, or is it someone else's pattern? We're going to talk about that a lot today. And before I introduce myself, I would like to introduce my guest today, Carmelita de la Guardia.
Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to be here, to be part of this program. As far as the business that we're into, or actually that I'm into, my business experience as an entertainer slash translator. So it's given me a lot of new things in my life, and I would say that as far as the encouragement from many people that I've dealt with, I am where I'm at today, and it's just been a wonderful journey.
Excellent. And she is working with patients and doctors and translating, and I think that's awesome because she's making a difference. And the main reason not only is because of her excellent skills, but because of her heart to actually really help these people change their lives.
Yes, and it's been wonderful. I mean, so many people that are out there that need this kind of skill, so that I can help them with their not only medical but also legal. So yes. I help them out with that. But and again, I'm going to say that I never thought that I would be in this profession, because it's something that came to me because of a very sad time of my life, a divorce. So with that, I've had wonderful people in my journey, and they've given me the positive ways of thinking, knowing that I can do it. So, and you can do it too.
Yes, and that is so true. That is so true. And so a little bit about me. I am an international author and speaker and trainer and consultant, and I work with what's called SoaringHigher.rocks, and I help people with self-esteem, self-image, career development, all of their communication skills, and really trying to empower them to go forward in their lives and in their careers and their jobs, learn a lot about business etiquette. And so I'm always here for you to really help you in those particular areas, and that's what we're going to focus on a lot. And especially today and next week, Carmelita and I are going to talk a lot about empowering you in the different areas of your life so you get what you deserve and what you desire. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly. So, I mean, what another venture that I've had actually that through my life was my music. And my music has given me a situation where I can, relate to people and move their hearts and lift them in whatever, situation that they're in. And so.
Yes, and that's so true. We all have skills and abilities, things that we can do that will impact the lives of other people. So even all the hard things and transitioning, triumphing through all the difficulties, we learn so much that then we can take to help other people to overcome and to move forward and to achieve the things that they want in their lives. And basically that's metamorphosis. My mom had written a beautiful poem about that, and it really means a striking change in appearance, character, or circumstances, usually by supernatural means, which we believe is by God's means, we can transform our lives. And so it's really changing form, changing function, changing those things that need to be changed, and get out of the pattern of maybe sabotaging our lives or staying where we are when we really don't want to be there or shouldn't be there, and to move forward. And so you've experienced that too, correct? With the
I have,
appearance, character, and circumstances?
Definitely, and I was going to say that the musical thing, that where I found that I needed to express myself in my music that I wrote, that love is forever, that you can't, as far as, well, how can I say? I think that the expression of letting other people know that it's not over, you know, that there are so many good things that we can do. And I'm giving that to my audience as far as, you know, that love is forever, that it never stops. So, you know, with that hurt that I had, I did a good thing, and hoping that others are moved by that song.
Absolutely, and it does. When someone listens to that, they really can feel that transformation. So again, the metamorphosis, we can change our appearance if we need to feel more successful, you know, just to really use what God's given us, our character, our qualities, our distinguishing features, and then the circumstances in our lives. We have control of a lot of that, and we're going to talk today about what we can control and what things maybe we just need to change a little bit. And so some of the things with transformation now that we're going to talk about over the weeks are going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of game plans that we're going to talk about, and then also just really deal with a lot of gut level areas that we want to help you transform through. So as I just checked my list here, the image of success, I'm going to talk a lot about that throughout the weeks, communicating with people with confidence, whether it's written, whether it's verbal, whether it's nonverbal, because that's very, very important. We can even get into corporate and dining and social etiquette. If that's something that you would like, you can let us know that. Wardrobe and so many things like that. Marketing yourself for success, and also reaching for that brass ring and really achieving the success that you desire, that you want, that you deserve, and that you're so capable of. And Carmelita, I know you have a special area of interest.
Well, as far as the special interest that I have is the Women's International that I've developed in the 90s, actually. And it was, I knew a few people at UNO that, and right now Dr. Garcia, who was my, you know, my mentor at that time, we had women from all over the world, Spain, France, South America, you know, all the different countries down there, and of course Italy, because I'm Italian. So, and that was something that where we all got together, we shared our types of dress in certain countries like India, you know, and China, they have special culture, and then the foods. And when we would get together, it was just the best time. So and that's what, right now, I consider myself more of an international woman, where I still am connected to all these wonderful ladies and you know, men and women. So, and then with my translating skills, that's also been a positive thing for me to keep going, you know, keep going.
Yes.
So.
And really, we're going to be talking about diversity in the near future with another lady as well as with Carmelita, and really blending people together in good, positive ways, where it's positive and not a negative like we see a lot now. So that's a lot of our mission is to be working on those. And I'm going to call it the 4 R's of transformation. And that's redesign, rebuild, raise up, and run your race. So when we redesign, we're going to have to change our patterns. We're going to have to sit down and really create what are these things that I need to take out? What are these things that I need to bring in? And redesign, just like an architect. We are the architects of our lives. And so we're going to talk a lot about steps to redesigning your life, rebuilding it, and my book, Hope at the End of Your Rope, Steps to Rebuild Your Life. That's definitely one thing where you can actually go through the workbook and take steps that will actually cause you to see huge transformations in your life, especially as you go through transitions and things in life change, which they do constantly. Raise up. That means, you know, not being a little chicken in the yard pecking for the crumbs, but raising up like an eagle to where you should be and where you're able to be, capable of being. And so I really love to talk about raising up or rising up to where your goal is in life, where your heart's desires are, and then running your race, because a lot of obstacles get in the way to run your race. And yet we will continue to talk about overcoming those obstacles, running that race that you've been designed for ever since you were born. And also to take control of your own life, because so many times something was said to us, a parent, a teacher, a sibling, schoolmates, whatever, that maybe caused us to back down, to be afraid, to feel rejected, to be hurt. And so in a way, we've let them take control of our lives by doing that. And so we want to really help you understand no one's opinion has the right to determine your worth, your value, or where you go in life. So if someone says, oh, you're stupid, or you're not as good as your sister, your brother, or things like that, that's an opinion. It means absolutely nothing. So no one has the right to determine or control your future. You do.
That's right. And I can tell you my testimony here is that when I was a little girl, I had a teacher that she had this long stick, let me tell you. And that long stick, I was so scared, my piano teacher. And every time I would be out of tempo, she would strike me with that stick. So when that happened, I thought, gosh, I'll never be able to do tempo. I'll never be able to do my music, my singing, or my dancing, or whatever it is that I was involved with because of that fear of, or that teacher that gave me that negative, understanding of what I could do. But that all changed. I've been fighting that, and now today, my music, I write my music. I'm a pianist, so there's, I do have my music that's out. You can hear that, so hopefully. But yes, no, we cannot let people dominate. People tell us that we're unable to do what we love.
Yes, because again, that's mere words. It's they don't know. They don't have a right to determine that at all. And I remember when I was 5 years old, and my dad said, well, he didn't care if I was sick or not. He was going to the horse races in Grand Island and told my mom to take me on the bus. And even though that wasn't that big of a deal, it actually, from that point on, told me I was worthless. I had no value. Horses were more important than I was. And so I let myself have that saying, that thought, continue to sabotage me in my life, most of my life, because it's like, well, you're not worth anything. You're not worthy, so why try? So I would quit everything that I started. I got good grades and things like that, but yet I never thought I was that smart. And so I was letting something that happened when I was 5, affect me. And I know they say that between the ages of 0 and 7 is when we really pick up so many things that will form our lives and cause us to go a certain direction and follow a certain pattern. And so that's what I did, and that's what so many people do. But then you see other people, like the young lady who was in Miss Teen America many years ago. It was her foster mom. She didn't even have a mom and dad. Her foster mom took her there with a $39 evening gown, and she competed against girls that had lots of beautiful things, and she won Miss Teen America that year, even though she had no family and she had a foster mom. And so we really can't let things that are said to us or opinions of others determine our worth and value, because we can overcome those and use the gifts and the talents that God's given each one of us. That's because right. He has. And so we want to talk to you about that a lot over the next weeks, and really help you to understand that, and to be able to seek out those people who are positive, who will support, who will help guide. There's so many people out there that will help guide us through the difficult times. Exactly. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
Yes. I mean, church, your church groups, and just positive people that care for you, people that love you. And stay away from people that are always, giving you negative, oh, you can't do this. I mean, this involves people in your family. So it's all around us.
Yes, so many times I think, and I don't have much family around, and so a lot of times friends like you and I, for instance, you look more like my sister, and a lot of times don't just, think, oh, it's just my family. Well, to me, family is not necessarily my blood. It's those who are closest, who are there, who know your heart, and who are there, walk alongside of you. And so that's what I really believe is the most important, the ones that can be supportive. And again, it could be a pastor, it could be a teacher, it could be a counselor. I've heard stories of people who were very badly abused by a parent, and what happened? An elderly neighbor or someone like that actually fed them enough encouragement that they went on to do great things because of the little stories that were penetrating their mind. Years ago, I was on a show with Josh McDowell and Ben Kinchlow, Pat Robertson's program, and I remember talking to a gentleman who grew up in a very abusive home, but it was his neighbor lady, who was an older lady, that kept encouraging him more and more and more until he became very accomplished. But it was only because he let that penetrate his mind rather than everything that his dad had said. So some of the things that we will be talking about would be personal discoveries, and that could be inspiration, empowerment, things that will help you grow. Private finishing school, in a way, we've both worked a lot with that. In grooming appearance, your confidence, things that will help you be more successful in business. Sort of a private finishing school, we can do a lot of fun things with that. Meet Me on Career Corner. There's a whole lot of programs that we're going to do that. And then just health and beauty, and we'll have expert speakers that will be working with this each week.
You know, and I have to say that because of my situation, I am doing I'm doing real estate, so it doesn't make any difference how old we are, you know. So it's what we need to do to make us complete, and knowing that God is always there to guide us to the right place.
Yes, and I like the saying, the age only counts in wine and cheese.
Exactly.
And so
yes.
It doesn't matter how old we are going to rise if we want to. I've seen stories of people jumping out of planes. You know, they're 90 years old because this was a goal. There was a man, Mr. Miyata, that was in a detention camp in 1942. He was Japanese because he was in America. And it took 72 years, I believe it was, after he was to graduate, that he literally walked across the stage with that group of high school students to get that diploma. He never let go.
Yeah.
And we don't have to either. You know, and just a couple quick, very quick personal testimonies. You know, I had grown up poor, and I had gone through a lot of abuse, not by my parents, but in domestic violence, and then I'd lost a good husband, and I had to be a caregiver, and I lost my son for many years, and I've had 25 to 30 surgeries of all kinds, including a brain tumor, and just dealing with health issues now too, you know. And so I understand what it's like to have just about anything and everything, then drugs and alcohol, the whole bit. And so what I do now, and what we can all do, is to use every one of those painful experiences to help other people not experience those things.
It makes us stronger. I mean, it's just amazing how much we learn. I mean, the situation with me when I was diagnosed with leukemia 6 years ago, and I'm very grateful that I'm in remission now. But that was devastating for me and my family. And you just, you know, you change things. You do change the way you eat. You change things that are, well, exercising, and it's just positive thinking that it's going to be okay. You just need to be strong and again, stay with people that are positive so that you can overcome all these you know, negative times of your life, health-wise, and
Yes.
you know.
And one thing I've had to do, and I did a lot when my late husband was sick, was this too shall pass. Because so many times you'll see it even with teenagers, a boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with them, and what happens? They commit suicide because they feel like life is over. And some of the times when I was clear down at the bottom and would have liked to have ended my own life, it's like, this too shall pass. So these things shall pass, and we have to get that planted in our head that life will get better. We just keep going forward. We make those changes that we can. And you know, we talked about transitions again, and think about a broken crayon, okay? Sometimes we'll pass up a broken crayon and we go for the whole one. It's not, no, broken crayons still color. They still create beauty. They still can design a gorgeous pattern or a picture in life. And so even if right now you're totally broken, and we both understand what that's like, to be totally broken.
Holes, yeah.
Even though you may be feeling totally broken right now, you still create beauty. And always go forward with what you have, your talents, your abilities, your skills, because that's so important. You know, so many times events are going to hurl us into the deep. And that could be death, divorce, illness, moving away, someone else moving away from us, relocating, physical, mental, verbal abuse, all of those things. And so, yes, they can hurl us into the deep. But then that's when we decide, do I just settle for this and settle for crumbs Is that all is that all I'm worth? I'm just going to settle for crumbs. I did that a lot of years. Or are we going to break those chains and go forward? And that is our decision. That is our choice. And so I want to encourage you with that too, that you're not bound to a particular person or situation. You can move beyond that.
Yes, we're beautiful. We're beautiful women, beautiful men. We're creations that God wants us to be happy. So we continue on that thought.
Yes. And you know, like we were discussing earlier, some of the hardest, worst, terrible times we've had in our lives are actually the times that we were strengthened and that we grew the most from it. And then we realize, yes, we are strong. Yes, we can overcome. So think about how you're growing, how you're overcoming, how you're becoming stronger and better able not to only pull yourself out, but to help other people pull out. So anytime you're going through hard time, know that your wings are actually being strengthened at that time to go forward. There's a call on each one of our lives. And so it won't let go of you. It'll still be there no matter what's happening in your life. That call will still be on your life.
Yes, yes. It's many times we think that we should do certain things, but you know, God has a plan for each of us, and I just know that it's amazing. That's all I can say. It's amazing. Just trusting, knowing that He's going to get you to where it's your best.
Mm-hmm. And you know, so many times it's like, I don't have the money. I'm overweight. I don't have the education for that particular job, that particular thing. I don't have this. I don't do that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's what you said. You have to keep our eyes on God because we think, well, I can't do this. How can I afford to even get my business started? A friend of mine said, if it's God's will, He'll pay the bill. And I thought that is so true
Well
and so
said.
simple because He will actually help us to get the things that we need. So don't look at where you are in life right now and say, I could never get there. But instead, visualize every day those positive things that will actually help you get there. And let Him worry about the finances. Let Him worry about connecting you to the right people. So many times it only takes one connection to the right person who can open up a whole nother door for you. And sometimes I'll just pray, God, please connect me with the one who will help me, whether it's with books or with speaking, etc. And He is a great connector, isn't He?
Oh my gosh, you know, I can say that the counselor that I had, this was about 4 years ago, she's the one that connected me to my translating jobs. And I had no idea that this was going to be like this. So just, again, it's amazing what journeys that each of us will have. And you just keep, you know, just, I guess what it is being patient and being quiet, knowing that it's going to be okay.
Yes, it will be okay. Sometimes it takes a while. And I believe I shared this in one of my single messages a while back, but there was a song back in, I think it was the early 90s, and it was called The Touch of the Master's Hand. And I remember just fighting no self-esteem whatsoever, feeling like I was worthless, feeling like I didn't deserve to have a good relationship and all of these things. And I was right at 90th and Blondo in Omaha. I remember it. I'll never forget it. And I heard that song, The Touch of the Master's Hand. And it's talking about an auction. And this auctioneer holds up an old violin. It looks all beat up and old, you know, kind of raggedy, doesn't look very fancy. And the auctioneer says, okay, who'll give me $1? Who'll give me $2? And then a gentleman from the back walked up and he started playing it, and the violin was so beautiful. And then the auctioneer said, oh, who'll give me 1,000? Who'll give me 2? And the people were going, whoa, wait a minute, what made the difference? And he said, the touch of the master's hand. And right then, I just started bawling, and I had tears just running down my cheeks. And it was like God said, you felt like that dirty old worthless violin. But because of the touch of the master's hand, which is God Himself, you're valuable, you're beautiful, you're my daughter. And I said, thank you. So always ask God to help you see yourself through His eyes, because that's who we really are. And always think about that. Letting go of the past, letting go of the fears, letting go of the things that people have said, and just knowing that you can go forward and you can be as successful as you want to be, and that you will allow God to be. So if you just want to close up just for a moment here.
I think that just believe in yourself and know that God is there, and all things are possible. all things are possible. So that's my take. I say that I am so much a better person going through all these trials, and I'm very grateful that I am where I'm at.
Yes, and that's true. We can look back and we can be very grateful for the things that we did go through, that we did experience, like in Haiti. We'll talk about that in the next program, and how something like that can really just change your whole life, your whole outlook. And so let's do this together as you join us for these programs again, and start thinking about the things that you want to change in your career, in your relationships, in your finances, in your life in general, and start thinking of ways that you can change that, what you need. And we'll talk next time about ways to change that. And again, our books and tapes or CDs are always very inspirational for you too. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you later.
Bye-bye now.